have a family at home?
Yep. How many kids?
Pretty old?
In October 2017, what began as a routine welfare check on a college campus in Texas would spiral into one of the most shocking police tragedies in recent memory. A 19-year-old student, bright, polite, and seemingly harmless, would take the life of a respected campus officer inside a police station and then vanish into the night. The entire incident would trigger a campus-wide lockdown, a desperate manhunt, and a haunting question. How did a teenager manage to sneak a loaded gun into police custody? This is the story of Hollis Daniels and the murder of Officer Floyd East Jr., a chilling case of negligence, addiction, and one irreversible act that changed countless lives forever. It was just after 1 a.m. on October 8, 2017, when a call came in to the Lubbock Police Department. A college student named Hollis Daniels had reportedly stolen his friend's gun during an argument at a house near campus. Officers quickly located Hollis driving home and initiated a traffic stop.
Search your vehicle?
Yeah, but not because I don't have a gun. I just don't. I don't know consent to that. It's not necessary. I'm on my way home.
No, it is necessary because right now you're involved in an investigation. That's why I'm asking if you have a gun in your phone.
No.
I cannot search your vehicle for a gun.
Yes, sir.
Okay, then hang on to him. I'm going to go there and see what's going on that side, then I'll be back over here.
Okay.
So, might as well just put him in the back of your vehicle.
Okay. All right.
So we figure out what's going on.
Body camera footage shows a calm, polite exchange between the young man and the responding officer. Hollis admitted he'd argued with his friends but denied stealing any weapon. The officer asked if he had any firearms in his car. Hollis hesitated, then said no. When officers requested permission to search the vehicle, he refused. Not an uncommon response, but a decision that would prove devastating. Lacking a clear warrant or visible evidence, police decided not to push the issue. They let Hollis go. He was warned to stay out of trouble and sent home. The officers unaware that a loaded .45 caliber pistol was likely in the car at that very moment. It was a moment of mercy that would come back to haunt them all. In the following 24 hours, Hollis returned to his dorm room on the Texas Tech campus. Friends noticed he seemed anxious, distant, and increasingly dependent on prescription drugs he'd been obtaining illegally. Later that evening, another student called campus police after hearing what sounded like a gunshot and seeing someone holding a firearm near the dorms. Officers immediately responded, fearing a possible suicide attempt or campus threat. At 6 p.m., Officer Floyd East Jr. and his partner arrived at Hollis's dorm. They knocked, but Hollis wasn't there. Instead, they woke his roommate, who could offer little information. During their search, the officers found small amounts of marijuana, drug paraphernalia, and a bottle containing several loose pills. But the weapon that had been reported, nowhere to be found. They were concerned, but without Hollis present and no clear sign of immediate danger, they waited, unaware that the suspect would walk right back through the door within the hour. At 6:29 p.m., Hollis returned. The officers immediately recognized him. He looked nervous, disheveled, and confused. When asked for his name, he gave a fake one. That alone was enough to warrant further action. The officers detained him, performed a pat-down, and questioned him about the items they'd found. It should have been straightforward, a standard arrest for possession of controlled substances. But the search was far from thorough. Unbeknownst to the officers, tucked inside Hollis's waistband was a loaded handgun. He remained calm and compliant, answering questions and allowing the search, subtly guiding their attention away from where the weapon was hidden. Within minutes, the officers decided to arrest him on drug charges. Hollis was handcuffed and escorted to a patrol car for transport to the Texas Tech Police Department. Inside the car, another small but crucial mistake occurred. A metallic sound was heard, a faint thud. When asked what it was, Hollis quickly replied that it was his handcuffs. In reality, it was the sound of his gun slipping down the leg of his pants and hitting the floor. He picked it up when no one was watching and hid it again. When the officers arrived at the police station, Hollis remained calm and cooperative. They processed paperwork and began routine intake. At one point, an officer told him, "If you keep cooperating, we'll remove the cuffs." And so they did. Minutes later, Officer Floyd East Jr. and Hollis entered an interview room to complete the booking process. There's no record of another search being conducted before or after they entered. Inside that small room, Hollis asked 3 chillingly casual questions.
You have a family at home? Yep. And the kids? Pretty old?
Seconds later, Hollis reached into his sock, pulled out the hidden pistol, took a deep breath, and fired a single shot. Officer East collapsed instantly. Hollis grabbed the officer's body camera and fled the room. He thought he'd destroyed the only evidence of his crime. What he didn't realize was that a hidden security camera in the room had captured everything. You're watching Behind the Crime Tape. If you want more true stories that expose how moments of neglect, fear, and obsession lead to tragedy, make sure to subscribe and stay with us, because what happens next in this case is almost unbelievable. As the shot echoed through the police department, chaos erupted. Officers scrambled for cover, unsure if there were multiple shooters. Within seconds, dispatch declared the building unsecured. A lockdown swept across the entire Texas Tech campus. Students barricaded dorms, lights went out, and emergency alerts blared through phones. Armed suspect on campus, shelter in place. The suspect was identified as Hollis Daniels, a 19-year-old student, white male, medium build, last seen wearing jeans and a light-colored t-shirt. Dozens of officers and federal agents flooded the area. For nearly 2 hours, the manhunt dragged on. Finally, shortly after 9 p.m., Hollis was spotted near a parking lot on the edge of campus. He surrendered without resistance. When officers searched him, they found 2 things: the body camera belonging to Officer East and the same .45 caliber handgun used in the murder. When asked who had shot their colleague, Hollis calmly replied, "I'm the one who shot your friend." Back at the station, Hollis was placed in an interrogation room. The adrenaline had faded, replaced by a hollow, almost childlike tone. He knew what he'd done and that his life was effectively over. In his first phone call home, he sounded detached, even casual. He told his parents there was solid proof against him and that he had messed up badly. His father's voice broke on the other end of the line, asking why, but Hollis had no answer. Later that night, he was questioned by detectives. They didn't need to prove what happened, they just wanted to understand why. Hollis explained that he panicked. He said he'd been arrested before, and in that moment, convinced himself that another charge would ruin his life. "I thought it was all over," he said. "I thought this was an opportunity to go out. I wasn't thinking logically." When pressed further, Hollis broke down. He admitted he'd asked Officer East about his family on purpose, because he wanted that to be the last thing the officer thought about before he died. It was a confession that chilled everyone in the room. The investigation revealed that Hollis had been struggling with drug dependency and mental instability. He'd been abusing prescription pills and marijuana, and friends said he'd recently become paranoid and withdrawn. But no level of confusion or addiction could justify what he'd done. During his trial, the defense pointed to his youth, his addiction, and his mental state. The prosecution emphasized his clear actions, the concealment, the lies, and the deliberate decision to pull the trigger. When asked if he believed he deserved to live, Hollis paused and said, "I think it's fair to say life for life, but I'm biased in my own favor. I don't want to die. Not anymore." After 3 days of deliberation, the jury delivered its verdict: life in prison without the possibility of parole. The murder of Officer Floyd East Jr. was not the result of a hardened criminal. It was the act of a frightened, addicted, and deeply unstable teenager who made a choice that can never be undone. At every stage of that night, there were missed opportunities, moments when the tragedy might have been prevented. But in the end, one man's hesitation cost another his life.
You have a family at home? Yep. And the kids? Pretty old?
Officer East was a husband, a father, and a dedicated public servant. He'd spent his career protecting others and lost his life trying to help a young man in need. Hollis Daniels will spend the rest of his life behind bars. But for Floyd East's family, there is no closure. only a void where a husband and father once stood. This is Behind the Crime Tape, where the truth is never buried, it's waiting to be uncovered. If you found this story important, take a moment to subscribe to Behind the Crime Tape for more real-life cases that expose the darkness behind ordinary lives. Like this video, share it, and tell us in the comments, do you think this tragedy could have been prevented? Your voice helps keep these stories alive and ensures that justice, no matter how delayed, is never forgotten.